Aaron Rodgers in what may be his last game. What should we be looking for tonight?
When Aaron Rodgers is involved, I'm always leery if I'm the opponent because we know if the game's late and he's got the ball in his hand, you're going to have a chance. There's also the aura of Pittsburgh. Is it still exists? I don't know what effect that's going to have on the Texans. We'll see if that's overrated or underrated. What do the Steelers do better than the Texans? Nothing.
If the Steelers lose tonight, is this the last time we see Aaron Rodgers in an NFL uniform? My guest today is one of the most respected voices in football, analyzing, and a good pal of mine as well. Always a pleasure to have him on the program. He is the host of Unpaved on Rumble, as well as the all-new The Findable podcast on YouTube. Always great to welcome to the program, Sean Salisbury. Sean, how's it going, man?
I'm doing great. It's great to be on with you, and I appreciate you having me, brother. Thank you.
Well, it's great to see you, as always. What a weekend of WildCard action in the NFL, man. We saw a lot of really good games, competitive, compelling stuff. Man, we're in the playoffs now. We're ready to go. We got one more tonight. I want to cover the weekend with you. But tonight, we're going to find out who's going to be traveling to Foxborough. Houston Texans and that defense. Aaron Rodgers in what may be his last game. What should we be looking for tonight?
Ricky, I think that, when Aaron Rodgers is involved, I'm always leery if I'm the opponent because we know if the game's late and he's got the ball in his hand, you're going to have a chance. I just look at both rosters. Now, there's also the aura of Pittsburgh. Is it still exist? Meaning, is it still when you go play? I've played there a couple times, and it's when it was Three Rivers, and it's hard. The fans, and they got great fans, and the blue collar, in your face expectations, hardcore getting after it. I don't know what effect that's going to have on the Texans. We'll see if that's overrated or underrated. I do know this, that the Texans in every phase are better than the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it's going to be a close game. I think for the Steelers to win, Ricky, I think they have got to make chunk plays, big plays. They're not going to be able to line up. They just don't have enough weapons, regardless of how good Rodgers has been in his career, at their own 20 or 25-yard line and go 75 or 80 yards 4 or 5 times. They're not going to be able to do it. The Texans are physical. They've got a really good back end. Their edge rushers will disrupt the game. Pittsburgh's just not explosive enough, which leads me to, if they don't make some explosives and they're going to try to grind this one out and shorten the game, they'll get beat because nobody's defense can grind it out better than the Houston Texans. And on the other side, the fluctuation of the Texans' offense has been a problem this year. They got to start fast. But when you look at it, what do the Steelers do better than the Texans? Nothing. Home field because they won the division. Rodgers, maybe the experience and just the stuff that goes with moxie. But they're on a roll, so they're confident, meaning the Texans. Their defense is as good as anybody's on the planet, and defense travels in January. The Texans, if they don't turn it over, they're winning the game. They're going to win this game. They're a better team. But we'll see how their offense goes, how Nick Caley is a first-time playoff game caller, play caller, handles Pittsburgh, because it is different. There's a different intensity. But if they both play their best, whatever the pinnacle was for either team this year, on both sides of the ball, they both play their best, the Texans are winning the game. They're a better team. But they're hanging around, and Rodgers gets that feeling late in the game. Look out. The Texans' offense just can't give the short field away. If they protect the ball and don't turn it over, their defense is good enough to get them to New England. Now they're going to face somebody next week if that happens, but I'm not looking ahead. I just think overall the Texans are just a better team, and their young receivers have reared their head a little bit. I don't trust either offense consistently, but I do trust the defense of the Texans. And for the first time in a long time, we rarely go into a game saying the Pittsburgh Steelers at home that their defense isn't as physical as the opponent. They're not. The Texans are far more physical defensively.
Sean, if the Steelers lose tonight, is this the last time we see Aaron Rodgers in an NFL uniform?
I hope not. He's a great scorekeeper, Ricky. You and I both know this. He did everything. His recall for all that. Part of me feels like he'd want to go out and win one. But the question is, do you come back next year? And what if you lose in the playoffs again? What's going on in Pittsburgh? Did they arm him? We thought they armed him with a lot of weapons, and Metcalf has been up and down. They haven't been able to run the ball like former Steelers have. They haven't been able to dominate the line of scrimmage. My gut would say, if you put my feet to the fire and said, Sean, you got $100,000, you have to bet it, I'd say this is his last season. Yes. But every time we think something about Aaron Rodgers, he does the opposite. So I would not guarantee it. I'd bet that yes. And maybe that's motivation for them going in because he's still got game, but he doesn't have the game enough to do what he used to do. And I understand he's in his 40s, but to load a team on his back like you see in Buffalo, where he can carry a team for 6 weeks if nobody else is playing well, like Rodgers could in Green Bay, he just needs good players around to maximize his ability, which is one of the great ball spinners of all time. It's just not going to be enough if they don't have an out-of-body experience. I think that if they do get eliminated, this will probably be it, although it's a bummer because I still think he's got some game when he's around good players.
All right, Sean, we got 3 intriguing matchups coming up next weekend. As you alluded to, the one that we don't know exactly what it's going to be yet is going to be that New England Patriots team. Regardless of who they face next week, speak to me about Mike Vrabel. This is a guy who came in. This is a 4-13 football team in 2024, and now here they are sitting in a great position to potentially go to the AFC Championship game or further than that. How surprised are you? I mean, we all know Vrabel is a fantastic coach, but how surprised are you at how quickly he was able to flip the script in New England?
Ricky, very, and anybody that tells you different's a liar. I mean, it's one of those, yeah, look at me, look what I said. No, nobody had them winning the division. I'm talking about when we started this season. But they're not fake. Now, people will point to the record, meaning who they played this year. Well, they just had a playoff team, even though they're banged up a little bit, come in and they beat them in their building again and manhandle them physically, even though it was a little bit ugly. Shocked? No, because I know Mike Vrabel's a good coach. Surprised at how quickly? It's not supposed to, although the NFL, because of free agency and last gets first, you can turn it around quicker a lot of times in most sports, but we didn't see this coming. It's a first year. You're still trying to figure out what your defense looks like. They're not overstocked with a full cupboard of great talent like we see the Philadelphia Eagles have. But they've had guys that have stepped their game up and taken it to another level. And the quarterback continues to elevate. In my opinion, there's not 3 guys in the league that throw it better than Drake May. The guy in LA, Stafford. Other than that, who spins it better than him? I'm not sure anybody does. So, and he has elevated his play. The biggest mistake the Tennessee Titans have made since their loss to the Rams, when they unfortunately for them lost to that Super Bowl, is letting Mike Vrabel walk because you had a few down times. Mike Vrabel is a great football coach. And I always big on buy-in, Ricky. And some guys, it takes 2 or 3 years to get buy-in. I don't think any of us questioned that buy-in was going to happen quickly. The results we expected maybe a year or 2 down the road to let him get his people in there. The greatest thing a coach can do is take the skill set you have and match what their skills do to better your team, not the other way around where you make everybody do what you do come hell or high water. Mike Vrabel's got a unique ability to get guys not only to believe in what he's doing, but to be able to change that the coaching staff changes to their skill set as opposed to making the skill set change to the coaching staff. And that's the brilliance in coaching. And Vrabel's as good as anybody we have in the league at doing it. They're just getting started. This isn't fake, regardless of who they played. They now have gotten to the point, even if you thought the personnel they were playing against that wasn't good schedule-wise, they have gotten to the point now when they've played against good teams, they've played really well, and they seem to rise for a team that's kind of naive and doesn't know what this looks like for the most part, but Vrabel does. I think you can make an easy cause that he's the coach of the year along with the Shanahans and a few others, but his impact has been felt, and it's not by mistake. You got to have a few things. Buy-in with the coach, a quarterback who's a big-time playmaker, and physicality. In January, they've got all 3.
All right, let's look at the 3 matchups that are set. The other in the AFC, of course, the number 1 seed, Denver Broncos, Sean Payton, Bo Nix. What a year, 14-3. The road to the Super Bowl in the American Football Conference runs through the Mile High City. Buffalo Bills coming into town. Sean, 1 year ago today, the Buffalo Bills beat the Denver Broncos 31-7 and sent them home in the playoffs. Bo Nix, that's the only playoff game that he's ever played to this point in time. Are the Denver Broncos ready to take that next step with a kid here in Bo Nix who as good as he is, he hasn't really been in the crucible of January competition much to this point in his career.
Yeah, and Ricky, I ask myself the question, does experience overrated or underrated in January? Or every now and again, is it kind of cool to be naive about it and just say, I don't know, there's supposed to be that much pressure, I'm just going to go play. Now, the great equalizer for that is Sean Payton does know what this movie looks like. And they do have a bone to pick from last year. And it's amazing to me, and maybe I'm missing something, but for a 1 seed in the AFC, the truth of the matter is, while we talk about Seattle and Denver, both 1 seeds are people are still wondering if they're that good because will the quarterbacks be erratic, right? Now, listen, what Sean Payton's done, Sean Payton's got a guy he's never had, a guy with great feet who also is accurate with the football. He had Drew Brees, which was different, but Drew wasn't beating with his feet. Bo Nix has that ability, just stay calm. I think their defense, like the Texans, can get them to a point. Then you're just going to have to make 3 or 4 or 5 plays as the quarterback. So for Denver, I do think they're ready. And I think that they're going to give Buffalo a lot of fits. If you can somehow make them one-dimensional, and I don't care what that dimension is, meaning stop Cook from being really good, and Josh Allen just has to be Michael Jordan without Scottie Pippen's help, or if Cook takes over, then you dominate Josh Allen, which is easier said than done. There is no team in this league, and it's not close, and there's no team in this league of the 32, not just playoffs, that relies more on their guy to have to play great to win than the Buffalo Bills. They absolutely, if he plays average, they're not winning. They're just not. Denver's defense is too good. Sean Payton's got moxie. He's got guts, but smart. He's got a quarterback that's got great energy, and they've got enough playmakers to do it. And so I do trust them. Yeah, we're just not really talking. Buffalo's got the fancy quarterback. There's other teams that we seem to talk about more, but defense, the question is, how will Bo Nix handle that? But he gets him in his building, so that will make a difference. For Buffalo, while their offense is really good, because even though Shakir was really good yesterday, but if Josh Allen, he's getting the hell kicked at him, but if he has a bad half against a good, how do they win? Because on defense, while they got good back end, Buffalo doesn't have a problem. Denver doesn't have a problem running it and getting the quarterback's legs involved. You have got to be 2 dimensions with them, and somebody else is going to have to take over a game. Shakir did a great job yesterday, but Josh Allen just keeps coming. If Josh Allen scores 50 like Jordan would, you can't let Pippen get 30. That's the whole key. You got to make Josh Allen continue to dress in a phone booth. But here's the difference. The further we move along, you've got other teams at quarterback that can keep them in it. And they were fortunate. They were fortunate in this game. They saw some coverage and got it done. Jacksonville's a really good friggin' football team. If Josh Allen misses it, he didn't even play his best game. But if he did, if he doesn't play his best game on the road against Denver, they're not going to win. Nobody relies on a guy to do everything, hurt, beat up, everything, and then Cook feeds off it. But without Josh Allen playing good, he can't play average and beat Denver. Denver's too good, especially on the road. They're not going to beat him. But that being said, it's Josh Allen, so look out.
All right, let's look at their counterparts over in the NFC. Also 14-3, also a quarterback with some questions surrounding him. Sam Darnold, look, this is a guy 14-3 in Minnesota last year. They decide, 14-3, I think it was, obviously now you can look at it and say it was a mistake. I felt it was a mistake at the time. I was first guessing that one, Sean. How can you hand the car keys of a 14-3 team over to a kid who's never taken a snap in the NFL, no matter how much confidence you have in him? But the year that Sam Darnold had in 2024, he opened a lot of eyes, and then we got down to the end of the season. He had the stinker in Detroit for the division, and then he had the game against the Rams back-to-back, and it was like, whoa, everybody got those memories of the Sam Darnold from the New York Jets and so forth, right? Well, he goes to Seattle. Here they are, 14-3. This is a guy who has demonstrated who he is over the past 2 regular seasons. Are you a believer in Sam Darnold? Because, there's a lot of people out there, until he does it in the playoffs, they're not quite going to be able to accept that Sam Darnold is the guy that he has looked like the past 2 seasons. How do you feel about Sam Darnold's ability to potentially lead Seattle to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, and like you, Ricky, I've been on record about this. When Sam was going through his difficulties in Carolina and with the Jets, I remember talking. I'll leave their names out, but about 4 or 5 guys that are experts, I think, in this business that know quarterback play and know football play. And do you know that not one of them ever told me that they didn't think Sam Darnold didn't have stardom written all over him, even when he was struggling, because of the arm talent, and they just loved his demeanor. Well, he got kicked in the teeth and went through it, and sometimes people get going later than normal. He got coached right in San Francisco. He got coached right in Minnesota. Now, listen, as good as McCarthy was in college, I am with you. Same thing. And I go on in Minnesota every single week on a show every week with Dan Barrera. And we talked about it. While I understand what you think you have, if Sam Darnold plays well against Detroit and in the playoff game, Sam Darnold's still playing in Minnesota. The door opened. They had McCarthy, and that's called, we drafted this guy high. We got to show everybody that he can play. And McCarthy may be great, but he's not Sam Darnold yet. But the arm talent's never gone away, Ricky. He just finally found a team and systems that fit him, and he's proven now back-to-back years. But the weakness for Sam Darnold is, now I'm telling you, he gets into rhythm and feeling it. He'll throw a ball in tight windows that very few will try. He believes that much. The problem is the times he believes too much. And Sam has this hero syndrome about him, even though he doesn't talk about it. He's a humble guy, that he feels like he's, in the past, when he's gotten in trouble, he tries to fit balls to places that you shouldn't. Yet, I don't want to coach that out of him, because when he does fit him, you're like, now that is unique. But the one thing that will get them in trouble is Sam trying to do too much. He doesn't need to. They run the ball physical. They've got a phenomenal defense, and their play callers are in rhythm right now. He no longer has to prove to the world he's not the Jets in Carolina Sam Darnold. He's done it. And I think it was a mistake by Minnesota at the time. They would have been better this year. You draft a guy, that's the way the world works. But at no time in his career has he ever pouted. He's allowed himself to get kicked in the teeth, stay the course, get coached right, and here he is. He's dangerous. He can be dangerous for Seattle if they get down and he feels like he has to make everything happen in one play. That's what you keep an eye on. And if they're in 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5, Darnold will be magnificent in a game. He will. He's that good. He's that talented. When he doesn't feel like he has to, he goes and plays MVP-type football. Stay out of the hero plays, and he's good enough. Some guys just aren't good enough to make the hero play consistently. He is. The problem is, like Brett Favre, he knows he can with that arm of his, and so that'll get him in trouble. He doesn't need to. Look at a lot of play action, run the ball, throw the ball in the 25 to 30 range. You start to creep above 30, that may be a little much. Seattle's really good, like these other good teams, Denver, the Texans. Their defense is going to give them a chance. Sam Darnold, they can win the whole thing if Darnold does not get careless with the football. That's been the biggest knock on him. Talent ain't it. If he's in rhythm and playing well and doesn't feel like he's got to play from behind and make every play, the Seattle Seahawks will be fine, and Sam Darnold will continue to show that he can win in January. That's the reason he's not a Minnesota Viking right now.
I've saved my favorite matchup for last, Sean. Bear down, Chicago Bears, man. We're still on a high from Saturday night. Coming back, Green Bay Packers down 21-6. It's been a long time, Sean. Been a long time. Hadn't won a playoff game in over 15 years. To see this happen, I mean, after Lovey left and we've gone through Trestman and Fox and Nagy and Eberflus, and we always seemed like we were 2 years away from being 2 years away.
Right.
To be where we are now, to see what you saw in Caleb Williams. Look, I'm not going to get myself too high here. But, man, watching Caleb Williams, I see a little bit of John Elway in him, or at least I think I do. What do you think of Caleb Williams? Ben Johnson, the job that he's done, it has felt all season long like, well, yeah, the Bears are doing good, but that'll settle down at some point. Right. And then they kept winning, and then they kept winning. And then it's like, well, they're a little ahead of schedule, but here we are. We're in the Elite Eight now and playing at home as well. Tell me what you make of this Bears team. How viable? I'm going to say we. I'm going to do the fan thing and say we here. How viable are we? And how good can Caleb Williams be?
Well, I don't look at it. I don't think we have a great team in the league. The Rams have proven at times, hell, they got away with one in Carolina. I mean, they didn't play great at times, but found a way to win. So, listen, first off, let's start with Ben Johnson. We talked about Vrabel and the buy-in and impact he made quickly. Look what Ben Johnson's done. A quarterback that people didn't quite trust, talented but erratic, a team that just wanted the physicality that the Bears that we know that I played against had. Do they have enough playmakers? Can they get the offensive line to keep him upright? All those things. Now, defensively, they're going to have to play a little bit better, and Dennis Allen needs to lock in on, are we a zone or man team? I know he loves to play man. They play zone, and they pressured, and you saw the second half what they did to Jordan Love. Dennis has got to lock into that quickly. But as far as Ben Johnson, if we're going to give Vrabel all that credit, and he'd been a head coach, I know Ben goes about it a little more maybe a little more confident and arrogant, which I don't think is a bad thing. I'm a huge fan, but the guy can coach, and he has maximized the building, no question about it. And I love his fire. I love that he creates this battle with the Packers. Brilliant play caller. The only thing that'll get Ben Johnson in trouble is if his ego gets in the way on the play calling and he gets out of character would be not to go for it on fourth down, not to challenge. But he's doing the same things that he believed in Detroit, in Chicago, with, quite frankly, a better talent at quarterback. Goff's really good, but I'm talking about a better talent all around with his legs and the things he can do. Goff's great when he's in rhythm from the pocket. This cat we're watching now, Caleb Williams, is a freak. And the comparisons to Elway are great. Why? Elway could be erratic early on. Self-admit, I mean, he's 50% for 3 quarters. All of a sudden, something clicks in, and John was a magician at it. Him and I have had conversations about it. I asked him that, Ricky, years ago. I said, dude, what is it with you? How do you do this? I said, you can be up and down playing. I played against him enough and watched him play, and he was my guy growing up. And he's only 2 years older than me. I said, how do you do this? What is it that gets you to turn it on when there's $1:30 to go or in the fourth quarter after you've struggled? He said, Sean, I did it once. I thought I was going to get some scientific answer. He said, I did it once. We did it a second time. And then from then on, everybody just thought, well, John, we're going to do it again. And he wasn't taking credit for it, but that's just simple how it went. That's what they're feeling in Chicago now. Ben Johnson, I love the fact that he won't quit attacking. I just hope that that every now and then if there's a field goal to take, you can take it. Because you can't keep doing this. And we say that, play from behind, because the teams are good in the playoffs, yet every time we look up, they're doing it again. And I like the result. So if this is the way you're going to play for 3 quarters and win the fourth, Bears fans will take it. But once again, they match what great teams have or trying to aspire to, because they're not great. But they have great moments. Their offensive lines become like Detroit was, what Ben Johnson had there, really, really good. They got enough running game to threaten you with it. The quarterback's two-dimensional. He just got to start faster. If we told him at the beginning of the game, this Bears team, they're down 14-0 before the national anthem, we may not have to wait till the fourth quarter because there's something that kicks in that you cannot teach. Ben Johnson can't teach it, although he can maximize it by continuing to put Caleb in position to make those plays. But he made a number of plays, not only in this game, but throughout the year, making throws on the move that you just can't make, that the normal guy wouldn't even take a shot. So once he gets into boring, if he ever gets to the point where he's boring early in the game, he's going to be out off the charts good, because the spectacular stuff that's not teachable, he just makes on a regular basis. I just hate when they flirt with this, because if you run into a team that doesn't get themselves hurt like Green Bay allowed themselves to, you may have trouble chasing the Rams down if you spot them like you did in that game. It'll be more difficult. But love what Ben's done. Love their physicality. They're going to have to shore up the defense a little bit. And they've just got to find a way to get their alarm clock started sooner, because eventually it's going to be too much to overcome. But I'm telling you, Caleb Williams, while inconsistent, he is as spectacular as we have in the league. Great arm. We don't talk enough about just the arm strength, the ability to throw off schedule, the things that can be taught. All he's got to do is get better moving forward in the playoffs and in his career, because if he just learns how to play boring football and the simple, normal stuff that you brush your teeth every day, if he just know throw the check down, you don't have to be it. Yet in the process of it, he's so spectacular. I do think the Bears are good enough to win the whole thing, or at least continue advancing this. I do. But they're going to have to give me more than one quarter of it. I got to see more of it. And once they get to that mode, but they're feeling it. And I love when Bears fans are in it. We hear this all the time. Well, when Ohio State's better, football's better. Or when Miami Hurricanes are better, college football's better. In the NFL, make no mistake, when that division's black and blue like we've seen in the past, and the Bears are good, there's just a different feel. They have the most talented quarterback they've ever had ever. No disrespect to my winning guy, Jimmy Mack. But when it comes to just doing things that even Ben didn't get with that offense in Detroit, he's got it in Caleb. Caleb Williams is a spectacular talent. Just start to bore me a little bit early in the game, and I'll be happy. I think the Bears can win, and I think they can move on in this playoff and be a threat in January.
Bro, I don't even know how I'm going to ask you another question. You got me so fired up. I'm going to go outside and chop down a tree or something, man.
Caleb got me fired
those
up
are
too,
not,
those, yeah.
Dude, those are not platitudes that have been spoken about the Chicago Bears quarterback play or coaching staff in a long time.
How do you defend it though, Ricky? Real quick. You know what I'm saying? Some of the throws you're saying, I just don't know how. And we can all, coaches like to take credit for guys' development, and Ben's done a nice job of staying aggressive, that even when he's struggling, Ben doesn't back off aggressiveness, which is good. They're going to run it, and they got the offensive line protect him. He's getting better, though, at pocket presence. But there's things that I can't step back as a coach and say, Ben can't either. I love him. You call the play, the ball's in Caleb's hands. How do you teach the throw going to your left off, and regardless of who he's throwing it to, just to get it there? I understand from the pocket, and he did it like 3 weeks ago, going to his right in the back of the end zone, or a month ago for a winner. The stuff you can't teach, you don't need to. He's got that handle. He just needs to come in and say, you know what, I train quarterbacks a lot, Ricky, and what I tell guys that are very, very gifted, play like you don't have a strong arm, play like you run a 5-flat 40, meaning that'll help the anticipation. That'll help your timing. That'll help your reading coverage so you understand more. And he's still in the infancy of his career, and he's already on a new coach, and he's only been in the league a couple of years. There is no ceiling on the game, but if they're going to win it, he's going to have to make more boring plays early to keep the ball out of opposing teams' hands. But you should be fired up. Chicago's real, man, and they've proven it. They know how to win late, and you've got to do that in the postseason.
Always great stuff, Sean Salisbury, the host of Unpaved on Rumble and The Findable podcast on YouTube. Tell us a little bit about The Findable, because I know this is something that you got a lot of passion for. You're a golf guy. You and I are as likely to talk about golf as football if we're not on the air. Probably more likely to talk about golf.
For sure.
Tell us a little bit about it.
I'm a nut job, and I'll do this as quick. I know you got other things going on, is that I am a golf obsessive compulsive neurotic guy. I mean, I'm the guy that if there's an LPGA tournament on, I'm watching every round. If there's a Corn Ferry tournament this past weekend, I'm watching it. PGA qualifying. I can't wait till this week with the Sony Open. The Findable podcast, it's a golf podcast that I want to do that adds some spice with my guy from Grunk Dolfer, that's an apparel. You've probably seen their apparel. He's my co-host. But add some spice. We're going to get a lot of content on the course and building that. But we had our first one last week. I love it. And when it comes to apparel, when it comes to golf courses, when it comes to that, Ricky, let's not tell a lie, brother. You and I, as much as we like sports, when it gets down to it, we'll talk golf 5 times more than we'll talk any other sport, from equipment, all that. I still have never been to the PGA show, and I can't go this year because I'm actually going to the SHOT Show for guns, because my company that I own in Vegas at the same time. But I'm like that kid, like the PGA Tour Superstore is like, I feel like I'm cheating on somebody when I'm at the PGA Tour Superstore, because I'll spend 4 hours in there. So this Findable podcast is for me. I love golf. I love the new season started. I can't get enough of playing or talking about it. And with all the stuff going on with the Live and this and the new year and Scotty Scheffler, this is the truth of the matter. You said, Sean, would you give up football to talk golf? And I'm being honest when I say this. I would. I would. But I don't have to, and that's a good thing. So, I'll talk about it anytime, brother, and I love it.
Indeed. All right, my friend, it's always great to have you on. Great to catch up with you. Look forward to doing it again soon.
Always an honor, brother. You're the best. Thank you.
Yeah, all you got to do is download the app and then sign up using my code Ricky. That is RICKY. Play a $5 lineup, and you are going to get $50 in free lineups. put into your account with which you may profit. That's as simple as it gets. Use my code Ricky when you sign up. Play one $5 lineup. That's it. And you're going to get $50 with which to build your PrizePicks bankroll. And what better time to do it than all of the football action that we're going to be watching in these coming weeks. I know that I took advantage of some of the opportunities with the PrizePicks max discount to profit from my man Caleb Williams having a big game against Green Bay. And now my wallet is a little bit larger, as well as my pride in the Chicago Bears. You can have fun just like I have all season long at PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. Seems like only yesterday that Liv came along, backed by Saudi money, and started picking off some of the biggest names on the PGA Tour. But here we are almost 4 years later, and look who's coming back to the PGA Tour. Brooks Koepka, the 5-time major champion, is headed back to the PGA Tour. He is the first defector to be welcomed back to the PGA Tour, but it's not the warmest holiday welcome that you might ever have imagined. PGA Tour CEO Brian Rolap saying that as a condition of coming back to the tour, Koepka has agreed that he will be not able to partake in the player equity program, which Rolap, in the statement, the official statement that was released, he says that should cost Koepka somewhere between $50 and $85 million in earnings. And in addition to that, Koepka is going to make a $5 million charitable donation that will be announced on the part of Koepka and the tour in the future. So a stiff fine here, to say the least, for Brooks Koepka to come back to the tour. And it's very interesting what the tour is doing here. If you look at the verbiage, and it's a long statement, if you're a golf nerd, go read it. I think it's worth your time. If you're not, either way, I'm going to summarize it here for you. They have opened up a very, very narrow path for Brooks Koepka to come back, because the statement from Rolap says that they are opening the window, not just for Koepka, but for anybody who meets these conditions. And Rolap is careful to say that it is a one-time window that may or may not ever be repeated in the future. So if you are with Liv and you qualify by the PGA's terms to come back, you got until February the 2nd to make a decision for Jesus. And after that, if you're not on the bus might never come around for you. But to qualify, and this is what's interesting and has a lot of people online drawing some conclusions about what this timeline might mean. If you think that it's going to be anybody who played on the PGA Tour, Taylor Gooch, there's no path back for you. There's no path back for anybody really, except for Brooks Koepka and 3 other people, because the PGA Tour mandating that the only way to qualify is to have won a major championship, and that is the Masters, the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, or the PGA Championship between 2022 and 2025. And there are exactly 4 players in LIV, including Koepka, who is now gone. There are 3 other guys who won a major between 22 and 25, and they are Cameron Smith, who won the Open Championship a few years ago, Jon Rahm, and Bryson DeChambeau. That's it. Their names are nowhere in the statement, but very clearly when you say that you will only consider major champions in the time, I guess the LIV era, if you will, those are the guys. So Cameron Smith, Jon Rahm, and Bryson DeChambeau, if they're thinking about it, if they've wondered about it, all it's going to cost you is, I don't know, punting about $50 to $85 million by not being allowed to be in the player equity program. You'll probably have to make a $5 million charitable donation as well. But if you're willing to do those things and be contrite, there is a spot at the table for you on the PGA Tour. Rolap going on to say that fields will be increased as necessary, that the return of Brooks Koepka will not keep an existing member from losing a spot in a tournament. So he's not coming back and taking anybody's spot. What are these tournaments? It's historically 144 players, 156 players. They've gone to some smaller field events now, kind of in response to what Liv was doing. But Brooks Koepka will be a tack on to the field in the events that he plays. Don't get all worried that you're going to lose a spot. So this is an interesting statement. It's very long. It's a little bit of a word salad. And he's walking a fine line between trying to bring back one of the greatest golfers to ever play and also recognizing and respecting all the players who stayed on the ship and didn't abandon it like rats, as some people did. Koepka was reported to sign a deal that had up to $130 million of guaranteed money when he jumped to Live. So at least he has a piggy bank with which he can take these losses that the PGA Tour is putting on him for the next 5 years. But certainly an interesting development. Will others join him? We already know that Live, they're jumping to 72 hole tournaments now. And what does Live stand for? Live is Roman numerals. Super Bowl fans, you know what it means. It's 54 because they played 54 holes. That was their thing. We're not going to play 4 days. We're going to play 3-round tournaments. And that's where the name of the tour came from, but they can't get official world golf ranking points. All of the players over there, one of the biggest things that those guys have to worry about is they are slipping in the world rankings. Many of them have already fallen terribly low in the world rankings, and guys who are clearly within the top 100, and in some cases maybe higher than that, best players in the world, can't even qualify to get in, at least not automatically. They can't qualify into major championships that they otherwise would have had no problem getting into. A lot of really good games. The Patriots beating the Chargers 16-3 was really the clunker of the group. Every other game really delivered tremendous entertainment. Of course, the Buffalo Bills winning on the road, knocking the Jacksonville Jaguars out. And how about those San Francisco 49ers going into Philadelphia and taking out the defending world champions? The Philadelphia Eagles will not have a Super Bowl repeat this year. The door is now open for a new champion. And obviously here in Chicago, I want to talk about some of the other scores that happened, and let's talk about 31-27, which is the only score that really matters to me. 21-6 was the score of that game before number 18, that's my quarterback. That's my quarterback. Caleb Williams, the coming out party, wins his first playoff game before Justin Fields, and he's going to face Matthew Stafford. Yeah, I had to get that in. He's going to face Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams, who barely scraped by down in Carolina against the 8-9 division champion Carolina Panthers. But they're going to be coming to Chicago for what promises to be a good one. I welcome now to the program the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, I suppose that, if there was ever a day that I get to take a victory lap, Caleb Williams, 1 career playoff win. Justin Fields, bagging groceries somewhere. I feel vindicated.
Caleb Williams is really good. I couldn't have been wronger. He is legitimately really good.
He's really good.
I called Tyler after the game, and we both don't like Caleb Williams, and that's just being stupid because we're Utah fans, and he went to USC, and he painted "fuck Utah" on his nails that one time, and so we just kind of held a little grudge against him. But after that game, and then after I saw the on-field interview with him after the game, and I said to Tyler, I'm like, we need to stop this. Like, he's really good, and it seems like he's grown up, and he's kind of awesome. So I I understand why
I'll
you're so
tell you this,
excited about the future of the Bears.
I've got no dog in the hunt with the Utah USC rivalry, but he was on my shit list for putting fuck Utah on his painted fingernails too, just because he's a grown man who paints his fingernails. But you know what? You play like he played in the fourth quarter on Saturday night. Paint your fingernails, paint your toenails, and then bring the polish over here to my house and paint my fingernails and my toenails too.
Dude,
because if you can play like that, fuck it. You know what? You do you. Because if him doing him means throws like the one that we saw on fourth down.
That fourth down pass was ridiculous. Like, absolutely
that
ridiculous.
That is not a throw that's just not a throw that you see.
Nope.
Very often at all. I guarantee you. I mean, there were high-level people who were popping up off the couch around the country when they saw that, because people who love this game and watch this game, it's just not a throw that you see very often. Mm-mm. And so when Caleb Williams says that he's got all the throws, that he can make any throw, he obviously really believes it, because he can. And look, confidence. This is a kid who came into the league and he has exhibited a lot of confidence even through the growing pains of his rookie year. Obviously, after the Fail Mary last year in Washington, everything just went down the shitter after a promising start to the season. So he lived through that. He got sacked, 68, 69 times. He led the league in being sacked. And then he comes back this year, and the Bears, a lot of people didn't believe. They were my most valuable team this year in our picks all season long, Ron, and I didn't get anything going all year. Thankfully for me, you were struggling even more than I was, but the Bears were the one thing I sort of latched onto when I was like, you know what? I actually think they're good, and maybe people just don't believe it yet. And I just rode them for a number of weeks. And so here we are, down to the final 8 teams. The only question we have is who the 8th team is going to be, and that is either going to be obviously the Houston Texans or the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll know soon enough on that. But I don't think this is necessarily over for the Bears. I mean, they're playing a home game against a Rams team that just barely was able to get past Carolina on the road last week.
Did you see the prediction on that temperature?
They're dangerous. I have not seen the forecast yet.
12 to 18 degrees, I guess, is what they're expecting at kickoff. Okay. So
that's nothing for us. But if
correct.
you're from Los Angeles, it's gonna bother you. And look, Matthew Stafford, I got all the respect in the world for Matthew Stafford, who, by the way, Ron, I was looking this up earlier. Matthew Stafford is 6th all time in the NFL in passing yardage, and he is 7th all time in the NFL in touchdown passes. And the only reason he's not 6th is because Phillip Rivers came back and threw 4 touchdown passes this year.
Funny.
To stay ahead of him until next season. Matthew Stafford, if he gets another one, you're talking about a guy who is going to finish his career probably top 5 all-time yardage, top 5 all-time touchdowns, and have 2 Super Bowls.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Stafford I'm not saying it puts him on the Mount Rushmore, but I'm saying it's a short list past the Mount Rushmore before you get to Matthew Stafford.
And you factor in that he played for Detroit for, so many years, and that was, up until Dan Campbell came, it was a wildly dysfunctional team. So what could he have done? Yeah,
he's a guy that I believe in. I don't think anybody throws it better than Matthew Stafford. And one more Super Bowl on that resume, he goes from Hall of Famer to getting close to the inner circle of the Hall of Fame. But I still like the Bears at home. This team is different. Ben Johnson is a different guy. We've gone through so many disappointments with coaches in this town. We've gone through disappointments with quarterbacks in this town. And to finally find the marriage of the quarterback and the coach, it's been a long time coming, and it feels good to be a Chicago Bears fan. And look, the Green Bay Packers have been dealing it to us for over 3 decades now. Basically, the entire Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers era it's been generous to call it a rivalry because we have been on the short end of it so many times over those years. And Green Bay Packers fans, God bless them. As I said, I'm from Kentucky. I'm a small town guy. I'm a kid from Horse Cave. I've always liked Green Bay just because it's so fucking different than every other professional franchise that you're going to find in any sport in major American Big Four pro sports. So I got nothing but respect for the Cheeseheads. I like the Packers except for when they're playing the Bears. So I don't have that true hatred for the Packers that a lot of Bears fans have. But man, it is a good feeling after hearing all the smack talk and everything coming from up in Wisconsin to knock their ass out of the playoffs. And Ronnie, you sent this over, and I thought this was so great. Matt LaFleur now has been on the receiving end of 2 of the more memorable comebacks that we've seen in the NFL this century, or probably any other time for that matter. Of course, the big one happened in the Super Bowl when he was the quarterback's coach for the Atlanta Falcons, 28-3. And we all know what happened with that one. And Saturday night, he can now add 21-3 to his resume because that was the score.
But he was in charge.
That the Chicago Bears bounced back from.
Makes it worse.
He was in charge of this one.
Yeah, he was in charge.
Yeah. This one bears his signature, unfortunately, for Matt. He's going to be meeting with ownership. We'll see what happens there. Never a good time to meet with ownership after you've coughed one up like that to your arch rivals in the playoffs. Ben Johnson, on the other hand, well, he had a different message for the Green Bay Packers. Counterpoint to what I said earlier about the Packers. Fuck them. Fucking hate those guys. Fuck the Packers. Look, he's fired up in the moment. I saw people that were,
classless. It's
classless. About the
classless.
fact that his
Tom Landry wouldn't do that.
Yeah, his handshake was too brief and
too fast.
It was
too fast.
It was too fast. What was he supposed to do?
Hug him.
What was he
hug him and
supposed
say,
to
"Hey, little guy."
Hey,
hug
it out.
You tried your
Let's
best.
hug it out, bitch.
Yeah.
Give him the Robin Williams. It's not your fault.
It's
not
hate
your
is
fault.
so good.
Tenderly
hate is so
embrace
good in
him.
sports. Hate's so good in sports.
You need a little hate
absolutely.
in sports. You just do. All right. Now here, oddly enough, as we talk about how we need hate in sports, there's some people out there who apparently don't have room for kindness and sweet little heartwarming moments because that's what happened in Jacksonville after the Jaguars were eliminated by Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. Lynn Jones of the Jacksonville Free Press, who I was not aware of her existence before this, seems to be a very nice lady, and she had some kind things to say to Jaguars head coach Liam Cohen. It's gone viral. Let's take a look at Lynn Jones speaking to Liam Cohen after a tough home loss that ended the Jaguars season.
I want to tell you congratulations on your success, young man.
Thank you.
You hold your head up, all right? You guys have had a most magnificent season.
Thank
you.
you.
You did a great job out there today.
Appreciate
so you
it.
just hold your head up, okay?
Thank
and
you,
ladies
ma'am.
and gentlemen, Duval, you the one, all
Thank
right?
you, ma'am.
keep it going. We got another season, okay?
I appreciate
Take
it.
care and much continued success to you and the entire team.
Thank you, ma'am.
All right, Ron.
I got a business idea.
Believe it or not, there's a bunch of people are unhappy about this, Ron.
Nope. I have
Hold
a
the
business idea.
for a second. Okay, well, tell me. But people are actually upset about this because she wasn't practicing hard-nosed journalism, asking him the tough questions. She just said something nice to him.
People
Give me the
need
business idea. God
People
knows
just
I
need
it.
to relax, Ricky. My gosh, she's just being nice. What is wrong with being nice? Business idea. We capture her voice, right, with AI. And then we have an app that gives us back words of affirmation. So like when we're feeling down, we could type it in ourselves. Because sometimes like saying it to yourself, like, come on, Ron, you can do this. Like that's not enough. But if Lynn Jones is saying it to me, oh my gosh.
She had a very comforting voice.
Yes.
Like I felt like she just was going to like set somebody down and just cook them a little meal.
I was just going to say, invite them over some sausage, gravy, and biscuits. Like, oh, yes. Just a nice Southern lady. Yeah.
Just
I'm all in on
seems
Lynn
like
Jones.
a nice person. What's wrong with that?
He seemed to enjoy it.
So much negativity. Yeah, I think he did. I think he actually kind of needed to hear it in that moment, maybe.
Yeah.
So that it was very sweet. I think it's a nice thing.
I'm a Lynn Jones fan.
It's good to see something going viral for a change that's actually heartwarming. And we got a bunch of assholes out there trying to throw a wet blanket on it because they would have preferred, some generic question about, some
Why'd you make that decision on fourth down?
So. Yeah, it's nice. I think it's nice. I hope that there's nothing getting stiff today when I ask you this question, because it's been a phallic New Year for us when we get to this point in the show. But you know what? I've got courage, so I'm going to tilt my head slightly, look into the camera quizzically, and simply ask, what the fuck, Ron?
So something really terrible happened to me yesterday. If you're watching this, please help me find this man. Having such a great time, like I can't even believe he did this. A group of 3 guys come in yesterday, really drinking for hours. I don't just stay behind the bar. I run around in the back and do tables to the grill, and I cook cheesesteaks. I wasn't thinking that they would do something like this. It's something that we do at Donkeys, and this guy just decided to ruin it. If you've been to Donkeys before, you may know what this is that I'm talking about or what this means. I can't say what it is because I want this video to go viral. So let's just say, let's find the guy that stole Donkeys, you know what. Or if the person that stole it is watching this, please bring it back. Not the same without it.
You got any idea?
I'm honestly afraid to ask, but I have a feeling that my joking intro about
you didn't know. You didn't know, because I'm sitting here going, Ricky,
I did not. Well, no,
dude.
I didn't know, Ron. It's just like 48% of this segment is about dicks.
Dude.
So I just said that. I hadn't looked.
I mean,
what's happening here? What is this?
They have a walrus baculum. Do you know what a baculum is?
They have a walrus what?
Baculum. Do you know what a baculum is? Baculum.
I do not know what a baculum is.
Well, Ricky, it's a bone that's found in a lot of mammals, not all mammals, but a lot of mammals. In there, you guessed it, penis. So you were dead on, dude.
Well, and it's educational. I'm just learning. Like, I know what a baculum is now. What is a baculum? Is it a bone? What is it?
Yeah. It's a bone. Well, they flashed a real quick picture in there. They flashed a real quick picture, Jared. I don't know if you can get it and freeze it when they had that picture real quick. But yeah, so they have it as a conversation.
It's a walrus.
Uh-huh.
It's a walrus dick.
It's
goo goo gajoob.
See, look at her hand. Can you see?
Oh my God. I am the Eggman. They are the Eggmen. I am the walrus dick. Goo goo gajoob. I don't even know, Ron. She's just standing there holding a walrus dick like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. I mean, so now we have to have a conversation.
Who would steal? What kind of man?
That was the conversation.
All right, I got 2 questions here.
That's the conversation.
All right, I got 2 questions for you here. This is my girlfriend day here. At her place of work, there was a lady who left a Post-it note on the soda vending machine saying that they should stock it with more Sprites. That nobody wants to drink. I think it was like Mellow Yellow or something. I forget what the other one was.
Okay.
And that there should be more Sprites because people want more Sprites.
Okay.
And on the Post-it note, they had made a mistake on the Post-it note, whited it out, and kept going on the Post-it note. And my girlfriend asked the question, what kind of person uses whiteout on a Post-it note? Okay, so here's my question, Ron. What kind of person, what kind of human being steals a walrus dick? And where is it now?
I don't know. And I mean,
is it in a frat house now? That seems like something that would end up in a frat house.
Right. It seems like a college prank, right? Like, and that guy didn't look like he was college age. So I could totally see my friends and I doing that in college. Now, I will say that Donkey's Place, which is in Camden, I don't know how close that is to Jared, but Jared should go check out Donkey's Place. I heard they have good cheesesteaks. Is they have said, hey, we just want our dick bone back. And they said they won't press charges. So I don't know.
Just do the right thing. Bring our dick bone back. We'll look the other way. We'll call it even. Much like the PGA Tour has given amnesty to Brooks Koepka, they're saying, look, bring the dick bone back. Yeah. There's a path for you back home. That guy's out there, though. His picture's out there, just smiling. The whole world knows that he's the dick bone guy now.
Yeah, it feels like they should find him in like minutes, right? Like that just shouldn't be. I mean, that was a clear shot. But that's just like, you remember we did that story of the Sinclair gas station. I think it was out in L.A. and somebody stole the statue of the dinosaur, and they're like,
they stole the dinosaur.
Have our dinosaur back. We just have our dinosaur back. Like
we just want our dick bone back.
Just want our dick bone back.
Good Lord. Well, okay. Ron, I'm afraid to ask, but
this one has nothing to do with. This one has nothing to do with penises. It's not even penis adjacent. So you can take a deep breath and just relax.
All right. Relax.
So
feel better.
This
already.
is one of those stories. This isn't like really a story that's like, like going out there from different news services. It's something I saw on Instagram, and I just said, I really want to do this story. So I sent it over to Tim and Jared, and they said, yeah, you can do it. Because I don't know. I'm going to let you kind of react to it. So a guy posted on the Confession subreddit, or a subreddit on called Confession. And he said, hey, 24 years ago, my son, when he was 6, gave me a mug, and it had a picture of a manatee on it. And he was kind of bothered that I didn't show a whole ton of enthusiasm for it. And to kind of save that situation, he said, no. I love manatees. You're just reading me wrong. They're my favorite animal. And so he thought, well, that was the end of that, right? Well, that kid kept that in his head, and every year gave his dad something manatee themed. And so he's been under the impression for 24 years that his dad loves manatees. And so he made a trip to surprise his dad to go see manatees. And the guy had to like, so it's kind of sweet that this kid like forever thought that was. I hope the dad never told him that, but now that this is out there, he's probably going to figure it out.
Is the son like playing with a full deck? Ron, do we know? I mean, I'm assuming that this motherfucker's like in his 30s and he's walking around. Daddy likes manatees.
Yeah, he is 30.
Daddy loves manatees. Is he like a man child?
I know. It's so easy one way to look at it that way, but then there's the other way to look at it is this kid's been like under the impression for 24 years, and he's probably got a good job. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to treat my dad to a trip. He loves manatees. He's never actually seen, what are they called? The cows of the sea. He's never gotten to see a cow of the sea. And he's like, I'm going to surprise my dad and we're going to have a great time. And he's going to see a manatee in person. You can look at it both ways.
I don't know. That's crazy. Do manatees have a baculum? That's my question. Are they biologically, anatomically close to walruses as
I'll tell you what,
fellow creatures of
I will tell you what, I'm going to Google that right
water.
now. So you just keep talking about something else.
All right. Well, while you Google that, let's go to poll replies. Speaking of polls, somebody stole a walrus poll from donkeys. Anthony
Manatees
says
do
Drew
not
Brees
have a
won't win,
baculum.
but well, damn it. That's tough for them. Flaccid manatee penises. Drew Brees won't win. I've never voted harder at any poll you've ever posted. Anthony doing his part, at least. The Moops says, perfect pickles, please, premium palates, period. And I say, piss off with that talk. No, we never say that to the Moops, who is one of our most valued sweet bastards. Huckster Finn says, ladies. Yeah. Huckster Finn's out there just taking the swagger all over town with the Golden Girls right there on his shirt. And, you realize maybe they weren't so old. You get a little older yourself? Remember my tweet, Ron? It's one of my favorite evergreens.
Which one would you choose?
What one would
you choose? Which one would you choose?
Oh, I mean, that's
Based
easy.
off of
That's easy.
Betty?
Oh, that's easy. Betty White. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't want to get manhandled by B. Arthur?
Yeah, get pegged by B. Arthur. There's a story to tell your friends. That's worse than having Laura Davies take your spot in the starting lineup.
I mean,
right there.
All
right, well, Ron, I don't. You want to finish your thought, Ron? Didn't need to.
I'm good.
Interrupt you.
I'm good.
Okay, that was the fact that you're not saying it makes me wish that you had said it, because I have a feeling.
I'll say it. I don't care. I'll say it.
Well,
I mean,
you
made that reference fully knowing what I had to rush back from to do the show in time.
Peg, it will come back to you. Peg, it will come back to you. Or a finger.
Now everybody's going to wonder what.
For medicine. For medicine. Ron had a finger put in his hoo-ha today for
Men,
just.
Don't be afraid. Get your prostate checked. It's important.
A finger in your hoo-ha for men. That doesn't necessarily mean a doctor was involved based on some of the things that I'm aware of that happen out there in the world. I'm just saying. All right, my thanks, as always, to everybody. First of all, Ronnie T-shirts, of course. Sean Salisbury, my thanks to him today. Always great when we have Sean on the program. My thanks as well to the fine folks, Molly and the whole team down in Nashville, to P.A. Jarrett, and, of course, the best producer in the business. He is Producer Tim, but most of all, I thank you sweet bastards, because without you, there wouldn't be a program, and I love you. So don't forget, by the way, to subscribe at The Ricky Cobb Show on YouTube. Get in there. Give us a like, drop a comment, but most of all, subscribe so that you don't miss anything, because we are dropping content every day, and if you enjoy this program, well, I think there's a pretty high chance that you're going to enjoy the content that we're dropping on a daily basis. So don't miss out. And by all means, participate. This is a show by the people, for the people. And you, my friends, are my people. And I will see you next time when we tee it high and let it fly with another episode of The Ricky Cobb Show.